Okay, hello. I am starting this off because I wanted to provide some sort of learning resource for my route, something to clear up the decisions I made and maybe shed some light into the information that I've gathered through trying to make this route actually possible. There's not much for resources for this game in general, so I figured a video guide going over my recent PB wouldn't be a bad idea. I'm not that great post commentary, but I'm also not that great at live commentary. So hopefully this doesn't end up too bad. I'm just viewing the video of my PB on YouTube. So just going to hit play and get into it. So from the start, hit the start the timer at new game. Duh. Gotta mash X to be able to get through the first cutscene. You'll hear like a few notes play of the music. This is technically the second cutscene of the game. And of course I start off and then I have to yawn. But so main reason why I wanted to make a NoWind run was because I suck at aiming tornado late game. And I just wanted to be that one guy who says, yeah, I'm gonna do the different route because I can. What I ended up with was a route that feels personally easier, more consistent, and kind of brain dead. The late game, you're just spamming firewall. You also avoid the poison area more, and you can't fight Daryl 1, so you have to skip him. That was tough, but skipping Daryl 1 took off like legitimately 3 or 4 minutes from the run, because that's how slow you kill him with what you get in this.
If you're gonna deliver that ladder, you'll be a lot better off doing it before nightfall.
And I hate seeing that my mic actually makes noise when I talk, or when I breathe. I'm not good at this. I'm kind of just talking over watching the video while recording it on OBS.
Best of luck to you.
So I'll just try and mute my mic from now on when I don't have anything to say. Start of the run starts off pretty similar to any percent. You'll notice I go after a different mosquito or a single wind gem because I don't need the double drop. And the one by the stream at the start seems guaranteed to drop that. In order to get that mosquito, I have to make it fly over towards me, or else killing it over the stream drops the gem into the water. So that's why the movement's a little weird after I drop off the ledge. That's the only way that I've found to actually make it end up in the right spot. A lot of my movement I am mostly using control stick held forward or D-pad to move. See, here's how I manipulate the mosquito. I try and strafe with R1 and L1. Got bad RNG on the leaf gem. And I also use the right control stick to move camera. I try and pay attention to my compass up in the top left to orient myself, especially when out of bounds. Luckily get a leaf gem there, and this guy drops one. So I had to kill a second one, so that's like 5 seconds lost right there. Otherwise, it's guaranteed get out of there. Pick up the golden grass if you feel like you'll need it. I pretty much always grab it for safety, unless I'm feeling cocky. And then you just run to talk to Evans and run into the place like normal, any percent, so. I'm not gonna lie, I honestly hate getting out of this house.
This means we'll need the
It's one of
captain's
those like small movement things that I haven't quite figured out the optimal strategy yet.
Okay.
I want to be like facing the center of the door so that way there's less frames spent with being forced in the right place.
He's in charge of supplies.
But you're in an awkward position while you're talking to Evans here.
This is a
And you also don't want to mash through his, you want to listen for weapon request form so you don't mash too much. There you leave, go through the door. If you talk to that guy before running up to the door, he locks you in conversation. Don't do that. Things, I try and cut corners as much as I can. A lot of corners I take by holding forward on left stick, pressing R1 or L1 to strafe, and then moving right control stick to get myself to turn. My theory crafting on that is simply that I know the strafing buttons for the shoulders give you the equivalent of holding perfect right or left on the control stick, so maximum distance, combined with the maximum distance of pushing straight forward on the control stick should give you hopefully equal or greater speed to like max speed of just moving in one direction. But I haven't tested that, and Lobos has said that that's not how it works with moving diagonal or sideways. There, I drop in the right spot to not take damage. I'm spamming triangle to hope to get him to jump, because I don't know how their AI works. Well, I say that, but they strafe to whichever side. Like if you're looking to their left side, they'll strafe to your left. Get them in position there, and you drop on top of them. It pushes you out of bounds as it tries to place you on the ground, I think. And I think you've pretty much got to be like holding towards the wall and directly on top of them. Otherwise you like slip off the back or front of him, and he's able to recognize that you're not. He's able to recognize that you're in a spot that isn't his X and Y. Now you pick up those, the fireball ring for the first boss, you need the magic stone for the first boss. Here's a deviation from any percent. Grab that magic ring. Because you need to craft 2 things at the first crafting. And then 1 before you'd be able to get another magic ring. Grab the waterfall gem, because that's how you make Earth heal. I equip all my magic rings to save on menuing later. And if I have 2 mana here, I put the magic stone on my bar, or on my select. If I have 0, I just use it. And then this boss fight is kind of straightforward. Dodge the boss's attacks, send out fireballs, hope he doesn't jump too much. Now, one thing I have found about this boss is that if you mash triangle even without having a weapon, he'll just start jumping back a bunch. It's really weird. So at the start, I'm pretty sure you need to get as close as possible to him as soon as possible so he does melee attacks instead of charging you. Sometimes you get lucky and he walks towards you. And yeah, this is the combat. Enjoy. Rush towards that door. And the split coming up here is on grabbing the water key. And when you finish that boss fight, keep in mind where the boss died so you can grab the ring after. Now 925 is not that bad for this run. I kinda erased all of my previous times from the past year just when I started rerunning or running again, just to have like a baseline, so I don't have an actual PB yet, but I know that I could get like 915 on that if it's running really well. I did have to kill that first, like the third Sahagin to get 2 leaf gems though. Also, Kane Morgan's eyelids are just a bar that moves up and down within his forehead, and I can't unsee it.
Are you here in search of?
At this point in the run, I have gotten up and I am probably mixing myself a sort of like Kool-Aid drink or something, or grabbing a glass of orange juice. Just getting something to drink. It's a good break for it. Pretty much any time the water dragon's on, it's time to hydrate.
There is not much time left. You must.
See, look at those eyelids.
Find Lila.
Lila baby rage, Lila baby rage, Lila baby rage. Death. So I think in my previous PB before this, my split for D was like 15-15 or something like that. On the way out, I'm grabbing the Ring of Insight. I'll equip that and I'll put the water key on my select. As I'm leaving, I am firing fireballs at everything in sight, trying to get as much XP as possible. Almost everything in here is MP neutral. They restore as much mana as it takes to kill them. And you can fire through doors and walls with fireball, so... And that's why I put it on select, is so I don't need to open up my menu there. Menuing takes time. I try and get this guy to jump, but he doesn't, so I don't bother trying to get another skip with him. It's faster to go out of bounds and leave, but not worth it if he doesn't jump. Right there kills a crab. I have practiced that too many times. That one you can get while running by. Now here, you fire 2 fireballs well, and you kill him. Boom. I think he might be like -1 MP total. Either -1 or +1. Kill that crab through the wall. But I'm always bad at doing so. More cutscenes. And I'd like to apologize for like long silences or me being quiet in general. I'm not a fan of making enough noise to bother those who live around me. But just simply talking kinda gets me anxious. So, yeah. But this is like the second or third best cutscene in the game. And I'll always think of just trying to skip out of bounds with rats whenever Daryl speaks here.
You little rats of the elders. Is that the best you can do? The eternal ring is mine! Mine! Mine!
Okay, but coming out of that cutscene, I hold R1 and push myself forward with the D-pad here. Go through the door, gotta go into the building, grab the sword, equip the sword, and then get into the boss fight. And pretty much when going through any door, you just try and orient yourself so that with you're centered on it, and pretty much just where you think it would force you to be to open it. Coming in here, you want to look at the fire, get it as centered as possible. That way there, the camera doesn't move too much. There you go. That was a little bit. Losing frames like that isn't a big deal in this run. Like, we're probably 8 minutes off, like, proper optimized runs of this game. Guaranteed, like, I wouldn't be surprised if human potential was technically like a 102 or 103. But no one's gotten that close yet, except for Tass. Also, the fire really tanked the bit rate there, holy crap. I didn't even notice that. That timer was legible. I should mention that my recording and streaming device for PS4, I have to have it go through a laptop for the time being because my main PC doesn't yet have Windows 7. But I found a laptop with Windows 7 that was cheaper than, with Windows 10 that was cheaper than buying Windows 10. And the capture card that I bought, I didn't notice that it needed a Windows 10. So I'm a big dumb and had to spend a lot of money for it. Coming up here, crafting eel with a leaf gem and waterfall gem, and material arrow with leaf gem and the feather gem. We already have the ring equipped, so no need to worry about that.
I shall this submit.
Just need to like properly menu everything, which just takes practice and muscle memory. And not picking up too many extraneous extra gems.
I shall pass down the knowledge of the ancients.
And of course, before I did this, I said it backwards. Craft the material arrow first, and then the earth heal. It's a very small difference, you could do it either way. But feather gem shows up before waterfall gem in the list. Now, I think you use material arrow for a total of 4 instances. It's really just there to kill moths, kill Windrake, and if you need to aggro rats for mine skip. I split there with the crafting area. Now, the worship area has a small deviation from any percent in that I do not grab the magic ring that's in here. I grab some golden grass and I kill a couple more, or one more ogre. Because I need 2 flame gems and I need 2 winged gems. Kill this guy with fireball and sword. Grab a flame gem from him. These guys are almost guaranteed drops. I can't say completely guaranteed. Recently saw this guy not drop a flame gem. But he did for me there. Butterflies up here are one-shots with Material Arrow. Kill one, kill the other, grab the gems. Try not to get hit by anything. Kill this guy on the way by. See, that's 3 extra MP you get. Here, I believe I put golden grass on my select bar. Got 3 of them, and I think that's still a bit extra. Because this run doesn't have, like, a mana shortage in it. You can earth heal quite a bit through it. And still be able to have mana for Soulless. Oh yeah, huge deviation. Go across the bridge. And the next thing that I'm looking for is the crafting area up here. To craft firewall on the fireball ring. And the recipe is quite simple. Flame gems on the left, gems on the right.
Submit. I shall pass down the knowledge of the ancients.
The rest of this is mostly just navigating your way to the caves. There is a short time where you go through Disposal Valley, but I don't think it's long enough for the music to play out, fortunately. Oh, my mic didn't pick that up. Originally, when routing this, I didn't take this path. I went the normal any percent route through Disposal Valley. But it was a pain to try and craft in the crafting area in there without getting poisoned first. And I need to craft Firewall to be able to kill the, I think they're called Ketobal Paw or something like that. They're the things that are lying down. You grab the magic ring here. And then you go this way. You could kill the lizards with a few firewalls, but I skip it. Poison is RNG. These guys take a few firewalls and a few melees. I think it's like 2 and 2 and I just screwed up there. You're trying to get Firewall to hit them as many times as possible as well. The path through here is similar to any percent. Well, through here it's obviously the same, there's only one path, but coming up. It's similar to any percent, but you need to grab the Power Branch ring. Also, don't let yourself die from poison. Power Branch is a little off the beaten path, but you also can't kill the 2 golems that are in here, so you kinda... it almost evens out the time. And you make up the missed XP by grabbing the XP ring early on. There, I just use Earth Heal to top myself off, just in case. Don't want to get hit by like a stray projectile and just lose the run for it. See, run around there to grab Phoenix Gem. You need that to make Bomber later. And this is just the path that I run to get to Power Branch. If you feel like you need extra XP or something, those guys are easy to kill with Firewall. They act just like the ones earlier in the worship area. Those ghosts are actually also pretty easy to kill with Firewall. I think it's like 2 or 3. They've got a chance to drop a dead gem. There's just no way to get back to use it on the secret dungeon door. Until after Daryl 1 anyways, so... And now I believe we're back on where any percent would be. We do skip the Ring of Magic in here because it's too far off our path compared to other rings. The same reason for skipping the ring in the worship area. And every time that I run through here, I am scared I'm just gonna get hit by a stray projectile and lose like 50 plus HP for it. There I screw up and get stuck on the wall. It's really good, really good. And coming up here is Mind Skip, which uses the same being placed out of bounds property from before, except this time you drop on top of rats. I have been trying to find a way where you don't have to drop, because in order to drop you need to wait for the elevator to go entirely down. It's just inconsistent. But rats are such a good tool in this run, because their AI is really controllable. See there, I was just lingering on top of it and not being placed out of bounds. It scared the hell out of me when I did the run. But rat AI is basically, if you're in range, the rat will run in the cardinal direction that you are facing. So if you're looking north, the rats run north. So you can really control them. And they're passive until attacked. Once attacked, they sort of just scamper around and then charge towards you. Coming up here for free XP and free MP, I just one-shot these guys with a sword. Drive by. Look at that, went from 29 to 53. If I'm looking okay on MP, I kind of just skip those guys though. Here, I think it's 4 firewalls. Just gotta not get hit by his projectile, or else you can't cast anything and he starts charging you. Grab the lava gem, that's used for bomber, and then one-shot this guy so he can't shoot you later while you're using the rats to skip out of bounds. Now here, my camera movement was calculated. It was to keep the rats from bunching up too much. Grab that ring of magic. If the rats bunch up too much, they all hit you from the same direction, and that makes it harder for them to push you out of bounds. You need at least 2 rats pushing you in different directions in a corner. I think it's just like, probably what happens is the game, while checking where you'd be in the next frame, it says that you'd be out of bounds instead of in the wall, and so it just puts you out of bounds because of the combined force of 2 directions of rats pushing. But I have no concrete idea. So here, I'm trying to get the rats to all push me into the corner and through it. Get through it, and then you have to go through here to load it, the load zone and the ring clarity. Go to clarity, and then it's just the same direction from here. Southwest, get to the load zone. If you walk too far, Daryl's, like the opening to his room, go into his room, he'll actually like trigger and you'll go into his starting animation even though he's not there. And I'd like to take a moment to just apologize if audio volumes are seeming weird at all through this. I'm trying to keep things balanced by looking at OBS, but again, I'm really bad at this. Okay, so killing these guys is as easy as that. They're basically just larger ogres, and don't let them cast Tornado. Otherwise, it is a pain. Here we actually collect pretty much everything that we can, because Bomber is the only other spell that we need to finish the run, but we can create another one and gain more fire damage to make Firewall stronger, and it does make a legitimate difference. The difference between having Firewall as an extra ring or Bomber as an extra ring is the difference between 2-shotting or 1-shotting the gargoyles in the library. Unfortunately in this run, I got Fireball as an extra ring, so I had 2 Firewalls. I said Firewall the first time, right? Yeah, I should probably also mention I'm not going off any sort of script, I'm just sort of ad-libbing while my run plays. Grab that magic crystal to make up for one that wasn't gotten because of our Daryl skip being so good. Because there's a backup method to Daryl skip, which is in my previous world record, that you skip out of bounds near that corpse. And it's more consistent because the rats, if they bunch up, they unbunch if you run them over the corpse. Just small things that I've figured out that only really have use for this run, I feel, or other obscure runs. Also, fun fact, Firewall doesn't hit high enough to open the doors. So, Material Arrow is used here too. I will never understand that load point. Like, why didn't they just place a door there and load during the door, or load between the door?
I am the great king of...
So you just want to skip through all of this, then you go into cutscene,
What's going
then you run through hallways, and go into another cutscene. Then you've got to run and create Bomber, and then kill the cockatrice. Cockatrice gets one shot by Bomber as long as you put it in the right position. Like, you've still got to aim Bomber. I know I said that I suck at aiming Tornado, but Bomber is so much easier to aim because it's not placing something on the floor. It's just shooting something directly in front of you.
Hurry, this way.
Also, my god, I have not actually watched the entirety of my recording of the run, and it looks like I recorded it maybe 2 or 3 years after the game came out. There's some pixels.
I think that fire dragon has completely lost his human My name is Lila. Lila Satin.
Just smash through everything that Lila says at all times because she talks so much.
Don't move. It's dangerous.
Like, this is an urgent situation and she's just saying paragraphs and paragraphs to you.
Let me. I'll take care of this. Father! It's me, Lila! Please, calm down.
I split on that line just because it's particularly ridiculous sounding. I've probably got a lot of extra splits that aren't needed, but I like to keep track of every section just to be able to tell. Especially with the skips and stuff. I want to know when I'm doing a skip well or not, or how much time I'm losing on the fact that I screwed up a skip. Yeah, here I equip the rings, and use a magic stone because I'm low, put magic crystal on there. I was a little bit, that was not good menuing, and I probably lost a good 20 seconds for it. Just for having to menu like that. So, Bomber's recipe is Fire Dragon Gem, Phoenix Gem, Lava Gem on left, 2 tornadoes on the right. Adds up to 20, no RNG.
I shall pass down the knowledge of the ancients.
And there you go. Bomber is good damage, but it's so slow to charge that it's not worth on a lot of enemies. It's worth it on cockatrices, it's worth it on the gargoyles, and that's it. Also, before leaving this place, switch over to Bomber to make sure that it charges fully by the time that the fight starts. Yeah, we got Firewall there, and I'm probably just shaking my head wow, this run is not going well. Because that just means that bosses are going to take longer. Even Floating Bomb is at least a higher stat. I think I was actually worried about if I was going to one-shot cockatrice or not because of that. Also, this thing is freaking aimbot. Look at that. Look at it, how it aims. Like, it led me on 2 shots. Every time I see Lobos run, though, it just goes like 3 things directly straight as he strafes to the left. I kill these guys with Firewall, because it goes through both of them. And even though you don't need wind stat, you still pick up the hunting sword, because melee is a big part of Solus's fight. And the physical defense is still good. Now running through here, a disadvantage this run has is a lot of wind magic like the tornadoes in River of Lava and Wind Drake's tornado do tons of damage to you because you don't have wind stat. But look at my health after getting hit by 2 fireballs here. Like, I'll just tank another one too. Watch. No, I didn't. Okay. Like, at least there's benefits to having multiple stats like that, or defenses, which is... I love that fact about how the stats work in this game. Okay, so that one dies to Material Arrow, then you gotta switch to Bomber. And the strat here is Bomber near the face, and then Melee to finish it off. And you switch to Firewall, because this one is the fire type. And you're through the first section. I split it the moment that I lose control on the elevator. Or at least I try to. And this was the left side, so we've got the ghosts in here. Ghosts die to 2 firewalls. So a lot of them I'll hit like once on my way in and once on my way out. Or I'll move so that way there I can hit them twice without losing too much time. Like, there's one. There's one. I'll see those both on my way out. Hit this guy once, and then run through and hit him twice. Usually get hit by that. But you can hit him through the wall, and then hit him on the way out of there. See, look at that. Could get him through 2 doors. These guys give XP, and they're MP positive. I think they're positive. Let's see. Yeah, because it takes 8 to kill them, and you get 12 out of them. The fairies are the same way, except they die to 1 firewall, which is really nice. But they're harder to hit. Now, the right side you need to kill everything with Bomber and Melee. I think here I screwed up on pretty much every single one, and had to melee multiple times. But luckily I take not too much damage from them. Like, that wasn't that bad for getting hit by a late game enemy. And that's all of them down. There is a way that you can actually aim Bomber so that way it can one-shot, but that's very fickle and I've only done it like twice. And the 2 times that I did it, I had floating bomb instead of a firewall for my not needed ring. A lot of these firewalls I'll throw out, I'll just end up missing because fairies are tough to hit when you're just running by them. Yeah, I think I just kind of gave up on trying to hit fairies on my way in here. Not sure if I go for more on the way out, but they do give XP, they do give MP. They're worth going for if you're confident you're going to hit them. Another thing that I neglected to mention was you grab the sacrifice ring, but you don't put it on. Put that on with the power of branch and the power of seek once you've grabbed power of seek on your way out of here. Remember, power of branch still isn't equipped yet because it actually makes it harder to kill things early on before you have seek. And no, sadly, power of branch does not affect bomber. It does affect floating bomb, but floating bomb is also too slow of a spell. It's much better to just spam firewall. Because firewall with seek and branch is 2 firewalls that will circle around one of the late game bosses and hit it multiple times. It's so silly. It's honestly hilarious how brain dead the combat in the last 2 fights is. Yeah, right there I saw I had 79 fire. If I had bomber right now, it'd be like 94, I think. I think it's low 90s with bomber. Like with 2 bombers.
You're safe. I'm so glad you're okay. I'm all alone here.
Here we perform rude skip by ignoring her and just trying to leave right here.
You're leaving already?
This skips a large conversation.
Oh.
There we go,
We don't
plot.
have much time. You stay right here, okay?
And we return to gameplay for about 45 seconds before entering into long cutscene. I change this split name so often from like AFK or AFK for cutscene. Here I had it as long cutscene. It's so awful. It's guaranteed that I just get up and walk away for the entirety of it. Even here I might do that, and I suggest you do the same. Get up, stretch, hydrate, use the bathroom, whatever. It's gonna be a bit.
Lila, show us time. Lila, Lila, show us. Show us. Can you hear me? I'm using the last of my magic so that you may hear me. My human side is rapidly deteriorating. I can hardly speak now. I'm the leader of the soldiers. Zanzibar Dui. I am the last dragon with a human consciousness. Even the great magician Gil Grey is now just a fire dragon. There were many that preferred to die rather than lose their human consciousness. Now Lila is the last of the soldiers. I will soon forget everything, leaving her behind. The eternal ring that we destroyed cannot be repaired completely, and it's losing its power.
I still can't ignore his eyelids.
Each time Solus tries to get out, the entire island shakes, and it's getting worse. I have told Lila to leave the island, but she's trying to save Solus.
So I'm back from getting my drink, and yeah, this is just lore.
Care about others. She doesn't understand that it's impossible to teach human
Basically, antisocial magic baby transforming people into monsters, and Lila trying to teach him it's wrong.
to the eternal ring from the ancient laboratory.
But
Lila's there.
later cutscenes, like that sounds like it could be badass, and then you see later cutscenes.
The younger you that I once knew had a kind heart.
Like if it was done
I'm confident
much differently,
we'll achieve great success.
later cutscenes would not have nearly the
First child.
campiness that they feel like they have. Also, this dragon just like tells us that we're someone that some other name. So here we are, one out of here, and backpedal a bit with down D-pad. Excuse me. Really gotta learn how to like properly mute for that. I'm not a fan of push to talk. Here we just need to get up and fight the Drake. Occasionally the archers in this place will be able to hit you with a stray arrow. So keeping Earth Heal on standby isn't a bad idea. Otherwise, this is just knowing the route to get up there. And the way down just sort of ignores a lot of this walking in favor of just dropping down floors. And like I said, those arrows, sometimes you just like walk into them. Now, because you can't get through the door entirely during its opening animation, you'll notice that I'm turning in with the door just to position myself to walk in that direction the moment that I can. Just small things to note. Material Arrow, even though it's tier 1, the Windrake is super weak to Earth. And we've got Seek and Branch. It takes 22 material arrows, which is 11 Seek Branch casts, which is possible, I think, in 2 cycles. But that's really good RNG needed. Which he doesn't give us. Look at that. Can't even get one right there. This guy is such an RNG dick. Like 50-50 on whether he tornadoes you or he flaps his wings. And then you've got 25% chance that he just stays in one place. See, that's good for us. Just dodge the tornado so you don't die, and then keep unloading material arrows into him. You can hit him once on the way down, you just need to time it well. And if you're on the corner that he's at when he's rising, you can hit him as he rises. And look at that, that was quick. That was like 2.1 cycles. Now, I have no idea where the camera tries to turn you, but it's not always towards the key. Like, I was forced to look into that corner. And I split the moment that I lose control of my character on that platform. Now, the way back down has a few drops. Right there, you could get hit by an arrow. I usually do, I was ready for it. Honestly, looking back on it, I was stupid to heal there. I should have saved it for after I took gravity damage. So you just drop zigzagging the floors so that way you minimize damage. Here you might get hit by these guys, but not if you just sort of wait them out. Then you've got to move this griffin out of the way, but if you've practiced snow skip, you should know how to manipulate griffins. Which brings us to the worst area in the game. Now here for furry skip, I'm holding down R1 and I'm rapidly tapping D-pad up. Boom, got it. I do that because I honestly am bad at looking at the right place to do it. And here we need to get the griffin to push us out of bounds in the right spot. So we start by luring it into the cage. Cave, V. Then it's on the first panel, it's on the second panel, we get it to the third panel, and we get it to go towards the right. And then we have it push us out there. You can move through the wall because you're low enough down that it technically doesn't hit you. But here comes the bad news. We weren't high enough up to grab the key. Now don't panic if this happens. You can always reset. You can always try again, which is what I do. I go back and I try again by walking directly through the floor into bounds, because you can. Gotta be wary of these harpies. They will chunk you for health. And I try and get a better position on the griffin here. I try and get it to charge me not just right, but a little down the slope. But then I'm not in position for it to push me out of bounds. So I try another time while trying to keep myself alive. And that looks good. It looks like we're just barely into the floor, but still able to go through that wall. Sure enough, we can grab the key, and then we head straight east. Well, maybe a little bit to the north. I think I get impatient. Yeah, you can see me changing it. Like, this is suspenseful. I'm just holding like straight east, but I was looking too far down to see the platform approaching. And the rest of this here is placing the keys and properly navigating. At least up to the point of where there is the boss fights. Also cutscenes, really good cutscenes, top tier cutscenes. Keys can actually be placed from like super far away, Like if you're that far away where it positions you, you can place the key. You just need to be standing in the right, like, centering on it. Or not, because that was clearly not centered. Sometimes this game just doesn't make sense. Like, look at that. That was close to my first attempt at the first key. But that first attempt at the first key failed. And the order that you place the keys is actually good to follow because you want to end up here, placing the fire key last. And you don't want to walk off the edge too soon or else you die, and the run ends an hour into it, 10 minutes away from the end of it, essentially. Here you're forced to interact with the crafting guy, and you just back out. He'll tell you about baby more, and then you just spam through and you leave.
Thou art sub with the very body.
Honestly, if we could find a way to have that teleporter that you walk directly over be activated before talking to him, that'd be like 10 seconds saved.
No matter how many times I listen, it's no use. I can't understand what I can't understand.
Like, this delivery of their idea is so golden. I love it.
Boring stuff tomorrow. Let's talk about other stuff, like the babies of seabirds.
No.
Baby rage in the chat.
Okay, you must listen until you understand. Here, listen. That
I'm not even streaming. That's just if if you're watching a stream of this and you don't baby rage in the chat during this, I don't know what's wrong with you.
There are many seabirds that can be used as replacements for that baby bird.
But they're not the same baby birds. They're different ones.
I understand what you're trying to say, Lila.
And here's where I split.
What? You don't need feelings. It just makes you and other people unstable.
It's like the type of thing that someone who claims that being intelligent is painful would say.
Hmm? I wonder if it's him.
It's so hard to have high IQ. You just realize that, like, feelings
Listen,
make people
I wanna
unstable.
go look, but don't try to get out. I can tell because you're shaking.
Will you talk about the baby birds if I stay still?
Okay. Just sit still, okay?
Hurry back, okay, Lila? It's boring here. There's nothing to do.
Okay, so here you just need to run and fall off in the right places. If you fall off in the wrong places, you die and the run ends. No pressure. I think I always keep in mind that it's left, right, left, and all that you're doing is looking for, like, the right sort of terrain. Like here, I'm looking for this ramp right before it. Left side, fall off. I usually look before I leap just to be completely certain I'm not jumping into the abyss. I don't have Covenant of Artorias in this game, so don't want to be doing that. Here, I think it's on this, like, this straightaway right side, and I almost jump off too soon. There we go. I think the run before this, I jumped off too soon and just died, and I was so upset because I was an hour and 5 minutes into the run. And it died right before the actual, like, fun part of the end of the run. And up here, right after that first dip on the left side, heal up, switch to firewall. Luckily we've got 2 of them. That's the only benefit to having 2 of them. Smash through our dialogue because we haven't found a skip for it yet. And then your only fight with Daryl in this run is running circles around him, spamming firewall, and recovering mana. Like, this is some high IQ gameplay. I had to think so much during this. Like, this is just... It's tough. It's tough to do this fight. In theory, you can actually do this fight without even looking at him, but then you run the risk of getting hit by his Sonic, which hurts, as you can see. I was actually thinking of just letting him kill me here, but then he died before I got super low on mana. Now, gotta remember what the door looks like, and go towards the right one. And the split here is mostly to keep track of how quickly you get through that last area and deal with Daryl.
Hey you.
So you're splitting in one of his lines. It's recognizable by the split name.
She was talking to you. Then she stopped moving. Why? What happened to Lila?
Now this fight, optimally, I think with this run, you just want to firewall down all of the orbs before focusing your attention on Solus. Here, I tried to split my attention and it didn't go well. And I pretty much lost out on a good amount of time because of it. I didn't focus so much on, like here you see me go towards Solus trying to rush him down, but I take a lot of hits and then I've got to heal for that. Like look at that, down to 8. That's not worth the attempt. It'd be better for me to just stay back, deal with the orbs and dodging, and then rush Solus at the end when he's got no bodyguards. Like, I've got to do it again because I'm being greedy. Like, I'm pretty sure that I lost a good 15 to 30 seconds in this fight alone because of those mistakes. But eventually you'll see what I mean by brain-dead gameplay. Here it comes. You know what I'm doing with my controller right now in this? I've got my thumb over the square and the triangle, and I'm mashing like crazy while I move my left control stick just to be at the right spot for this. That's it. And there's the run. Pretty much the moment that I'm no longer able to cast, attack, or move anything, once he does his animation of dying, I split out. Because that's the last input that's needed. And yeah. That's my, let's cancel. I've got a lot of recommended. Hey, there's Lobos. But, just close that out. That's the end of it. This was super scuffed, and I apologize for that. But I'm still a scrub at this. I just wanted to make sure there was some sort of explanation for NoWind % out there, so that way it can be understood. And That way there, maybe anyone else looking to get into Eternal Ring would be able to pick this up, because I feel like it's more new player friendly. You've got to learn more skips, or at least one more skip than any percent, but I think that's worth the trade-off for not having to aim tornado. So, thanks for watching. I don't know how to end videos.